All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I am here with I think it's a new band. It's new to me anyway, and I know that one of the guests, one of the members of this band, has been on the show a few times before. But I think that maybe to start this whole thing off, if the two of you want to introduce what the band is and what each of you do in the band and who you are.
Sure. Cool. Go for it, Jamie.
Cool. Yeah. So we're a band called Heavy Visions. My name is Gabe. I play guitar, bass, and I do vocals as well in the band.
And I'm Mac, and I play drums and I do vocals as well.
Cool.
And we're Heavy Visions.
Yeah.
I like the name. First of all, it's a good name. But how long has this been a thing? I know you have a couple demos that are out online, and it seems like it's a fairly recent project, though, right?
So funny enough, actually, we've been doing this now for a little over 2 years.
Okay.
We were one of those like pandemic bands, I guess. We started. I asked Mac to jam like I want to say around like late January, early February of 2020, and then there was some scheduling stuff, and then of course COVID happened. So we didn't actually end up starting the band until like I think around late June of 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Well, there
so
was
it's
a
been
period in there, right, where there was some time you could actually get together for a brief amount of time, and then it went back to lockdown.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was like, yeah, the last two shows of 2020, and then there was nothing. And then Gabe was like, "Hey man, like we used to our first band was with each other in high school.
Oh, cool,
And
cool.
so we played together. We played together in the past, and we've been good friends since like how
15 years now.
yeah, 15 years. We've been good friends. And so Gabe asked me, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm down. So yeah, and then the songs have really kind of developed since then a lot.
Yeah, I think we've really kind of come into a sound that we really like, and I think we've kind of got a good grasp on
Cool.
what it is we want to do musically.
What kind of direction we want to go in, I think, more
Do
or
you
less.
think do you think that having that kind of long connection with each other helped to keep the momentum going despite the kind of frustration of COVID and of being unable to, get together and practice or jam or anything?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like we had been, it had been since we last played together. I want to say close to 6 years from our old high school band that we
Yeah.
played in together, and then when this band started. But I mean, like speaking just for myself, like it had been like 6 years, but it felt like it had been like 6 days. Like we were just, I don't know, it was weird. We were just like able to just go into it. Like I showed Mac the songs, and he was like, "Okay, I can play drums on these."
Yeah, it was I don't know, it's like we're pretty close friends. Like I like even before we were like playing in Heavy Visions, like we were pretty much best friends. So the chemistry was already there, like our dynamic, and adding music to it just kind of made sense.
Mhm.
And in like pretty much as long as we've known each other, we've liked the same types of bands
Okay.
and the same type of style, and we kind of wanted to make our own band that kind of made that sounded like that.
Yeah.
And it was like a few weeks ago we were jamming. I'm like, this is the music that like I wanted to make in high school that we just like didn't get around to it.
Yeah,
Well,
and
oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, yeah, I was just gonna say and that was like that wasn't even like an intentional kind of thing. Like that wasn't going into this band. We were like, hey, we're gonna reunite what we were doing in high school. It kind of just like ended up going that way, and like I kind of feel like I hesitate to say that because like I don't want it to sound like we're still stuck in that like high school mindset. But like I don't know. I mean, we just really liked that kind of stuff back then, and I guess it's just what comes naturally for us. Like when we're working together musically. And I mean, at the end of the day, we enjoy what we're doing. So
Well, that's really interesting because I've talked about this before recently on the show. I forget who it was with, but there's this kind of idea out there that the music that you experience when you're a certain age, when you first start getting into music kind of on your own, that sticks with you no matter what else you get into. Like even if you completely change, if you listen to metal when you're 13 years old and then you get into jazz, the metal thing is still going to be like stuck in your brain as this kind of like essential part of your music appreciation. So do you think it's part of that? Like you just kind of heard this stuff that influenced you at a really opportune time, and it's just kind of always been in the background there?
yeah, I think so. I mean, it was definitely in our, I think, well, high school is obviously your kind of formative years, I
Yeah.
guess, personally a lot, but like I guess musically as well. I mean, I don't know how long we had both been playing music for at that point in time, but it hadn't been too many years. So I guess, we were kind of improving on our musical abilities back then
Yeah.
while listening to and playing that kind of stuff. So that was, I guess, what sort of stuck musically with us.
Yeah. And like myself, like learning, like when I was learning drums and like learning how to play with people and along to music, it was a lot of kind of like garage rock like stuff. And since then, like I've played in lots of projects,
Yeah.
and those roots kind of stuck. So it was kind of perfect that Gabe approached me with this opportunity to try it out again. And I was like, hey, I can still do this and I still like it. And I'm like, this still is like super fun to play.
Yeah.
And I just like having fun with music. Like as long as it's fun to play, like I'm down. Like sign me up.
Is that what you consider this to be? Do you think of it as a garage rock project?
I'd say, yeah, like, I mean, like, I like to keep labels pretty simple. I would say at our core, I would describe us as garage rock. Um, I think we definitely drift in different songs in different directions. Like just off of like the new demo, for example, like one of our songs on the new demo, "Left Behind," definitely drifts a lot into like surf rock territory. But
Okay.
like, would I describe us as a surf rock band at our core? Like, not really, but like that song kind of hits that mark.
That's not a
Um,
big leap, though. I mean, really, to those
no,
two
no,
genres, there's definite
yeah,
connections there.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I guess basically like we kind of have that we really have that kind of core sound, I think, nailed down, but we know how to like,
We'll kind of float in the genre of it.
yeah, we know how to
Yeah.
like stay within like related genres and like kind of go back and forth between them with whatever fits the song best, I guess.
We'll have like songs that are kind of like spooky, kind of sound like a Western soundtrack kind of songs, and other songs that are a bit more drivey and or
Yeah.
surfy or something like
Yeah.
that. And I don't know. I feel like it all like at the end of the day, all kind of sounds cohesive. Like we still sound like even if every song doesn't sound the same, we still sound like a group. Like this is the
Yeah.
same band kind of thing.
Yeah. It's not a
Which
huge departure
yeah,
from track to track. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Well, when I was listening to both demos today. I listened to them a while back as well, but I was listening to them today before we did this, and I was trying to think of what it sounded like to me. And I mean, no insult by this, but the word that I kept coming up with was greasy. It just sounded greasy to me. And like, I don't know what that means exactly, but that was what was going through my head. Is it sounds greasy, which is not a bad thing. Like it's just this kind of
No,
greasy,
that's sweet. I'll
dirty
take it.
rock and roll
Yeah.
sort of vibe,
Yeah.
Are there specific bands that you would point to as having sort of influenced the two of you that you both agree on? Because I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that you both listen to, but are there certain projects that like you both say, okay, I can see how this kind of funneled through into what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I think I mean a lot of what we were influenced by back in the day and then what carried over to now was a lot of the like the early 2010s, I guess, garage rock scene, like
Okay.
southwestern US, I guess a lot of bands and artists based then. Bands like an artist like Ty Segall, the OCs, Bass Drum of Death.
Together Pangea,
Yeah,
stuff like that, like kind of like the LA surf punk garage scene
Okay.
and stuff.
we kind of describe it almost as like if anyone's like if you played like GTA 5, like the radio station there, Vinewood Boulevard Radio. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
like if we were gonna be in a video game, we'd have our music on there.
We were like playing that game. It was like, man, like one day it would be sick to get on like like one of our songs to get on like the next game or something on like the radio. Like that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird that that's actually a thing that could happen to a band now too, right? I mean, like
Totally.
I'm so not a video game guy at all, but I remember when I first learned that some of these games had like literal radio stations in them, and you could hear all kinds of like really good stuff. It's crazy, like that video games is. And it's a very good entry point for a lot of people too to hear stuff for the first time. Is just gaming, and they just suddenly discover some band that like they never would have heard otherwise.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
it's super like inspirational too, because like a lot of I feel like it's the same way how like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games like got a lot of people into like those songs that
Yeah.
were playing on that. it's kind of hit the same I guess vibe with us, because we're like, oh well, like these songs that we like are on like a pretty like mainstream platform being played by millions of people across the world.
Yeah.
Like who's just like, let's make music like this, and like there's obviously a market for it. There's obviously people who like this stuff, and like I don't know, it's just like a cool direction to go in.
Mhm.
Are there other bands locally that you think kind of fit that vibe? Not necessarily the same sound as what you do, but I mean, it seems like it's kind of nebulous, right? Because you could fit in with punk bands. Not that there's a ton of surf bands, but you could obviously fit in with surf bands. You could potentially play with just a straight ahead rock and roll band too. Like it's not that much of a stretch, right? What you're doing. So, like, do you kind of see a place where you fit in locally?
Um,
I think we'll take whatever we can get.
yeah, I can't like I don't know. Like I know there's lots of like kind of garagey bands in Winnipeg. Like off the top of my head, Mulligrab,
Yeah,
uh, House Panther, stuff like that. I feel like bands like that we would be stoked to play with. There's probably tons of newer bands that we don't like personally know that we'd be down to play shows with or connect with somehow. Um, and I guess that's the thing with being like a COVID band. You're not really sure like who like knows about you yet.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, yeah,
it's hard to
because
kind of
it's
break into
it's all,
it.
it's all new. It's new for everybody, right? There's this kind of like
Yeah,
reset, and everyone's sort of starting over or just introducing themselves for the first time.
totally. Which makes this a great opportunity. So
For sure, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, like as far as anyone knows, you're starting at the same place as everyone else is. You're having to, whether it's rebuild or just completely start fresh. You're still all kind of competing for the same potential audience, right?
totally. Yeah.
What's the plan with the demos? I mean, you have two demos out. Is that like a prelude to releasing an album or an EP or something, or are you just sticking with the demo format for now?
Well, I think for now, so we're like it's just the two of us in the band for now.
Yeah.
Um, we actually started the band as a trio. We had a friend of ours, his name's Steve, who played guitar in the band for the first 9-ish months.
Okay.
Um, so the band was actually not meant to be a duo. We were thinking it was going to be a 4-piece, but we kind of dropped down to being a duo for now, but still kept the recordings within like we still record as if it was a 4-piece.
Yeah, with
So I
overdubs and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So the demos right now are kind of like um, I guess making up for like we haven't played any shows live yet, but we still want to give people like the authentic taste of like what it
Right.
is we're trying to do rather than just like play shows as a duo and the songs aren't fully in a live setting what we want them to sound like. So I mean, I guess like we put out the two demos for now. Right now, I think we're working on hopefully getting an EP out maybe by the end of this year, early next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, the demos were just more of a way of like making up for just like the situation and like you know it just being the two of us for now and all that.
Yeah. And like during COVID we had lots of time to just write and
Of
work
course. Yeah.
things out. And another thing, it's like keeping the bubble, I guess, lower too during those times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Because you're limited. Just like you can't have more than a couple people at the most. Anyway. Yeah.
exactly, which makes it hard, especially when like you're trying to meet more musicians or get people interested in the band. Nowadays, it's opened up a lot, obviously, and we are looking for more members to join, like a bass player, guitar player.
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening and they're interested, hit us up. Uh, but yeah, the demos, like Gabe said, giving it like a taste of what we want to sound like, the direction we kind of want to go into, so people can be like, oh yeah, like I get it.
Yeah.
And like not being able to play shows doing doesn't mean you don't have to do like you don't want to like waste time, right? So if we can't play a show, what can we do? Okay, well we can record demos. So we did them in the basement. We did 2 demos. What else can we do? We could make a music video. Let's do
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And just like trying to keep making stuff even with like limitations kind of in place, and then I don't know, kind of get the ball rolling and see where it leads us a little bit.
Cool. assuming, I mean, I'm assuming you will get other members because there's a lot of people who play music in the city. But if you didn't, if you ended up stuck as a two piece, are these songs playable as a duo, or would you have to rework them considerably, or would you be able to do some kind of version of them as a
I
duo live?
mean, yeah, we're kind of looking right now at the possibility of like just trying to play shows as a duo.
Okay,
So we have a few of our songs that we know probably will work as a duo. Like they'd have to be reworked maybe a little bit, but like not too much. But like some songs of ours that are on the demos, like just would not sound right being
right,
played without the other instruments. But I mean, it's fine. Like we're pretty adaptable, I think.
Yeah, like a lot of the newer, because that when I guess you had some songs like ready when I was kind of getting into it a
Yeah.
little bit. So a lot of like the newer songs, like the last 6 months to a year that we wrote, have been just us two like writing them.
okay,
So to us, I don't know, they just kind of have those parts. They don't really have the other parts, and like we can make them work as a two piece. And I was actually talking to Nick from House Panther like a week ago, and we were saying how we were kind of like we're looking to get out and play shows, and even if we have to play as like a two piece, he was like,
yeah,
well, if you can go out and like nail it as a two piece and like sound super solid, that would be like even more like um what's the word for it? That'd be like even more like enticing to someone like listening
sure,
to
yeah,
be like, oh, like they can nail it as a two piece. Like, are they looking for another member? Like, let's add some bass in there. Let's see what can happen. And which is like you never know what's gonna happen. So it's good to I don't know. I'm down to play as a two piece just to see like who might be listening in the crowd and like is
Yeah.
interested, you know?
yeah. That's, and at least if you're able to pull it off too, you have that in your back pocket going forward, right? So if something comes up and you haven't solidified a band yet, at least you can pull it off as a duo.
Totally, yeah.
Mhm.
So at this point, I mean, with the two demos and everything, what's the best way for people to track you down and hear what you're doing?
We just put actually yesterday we combined our two demos on Spotify, so those are on there now. They're on Spotify, Apple Music. I don't know what other.
All the
Yeah.
things that DistroKid will put us up
Yeah.
with.
Right.
So it's yeah, streaming's up there. Our Bandcamp is there.
Um,
We have a YouTube channel with
yeah.
a couple music videos on there. What else we got?
We got Instagram is kind of our main or only
Yeah.
social media. Like we're
Okay.
not on Facebook, we're not on Twitter or anything. We're just on Instagram.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
It's probably the best way to like find us.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go to our Instagram. We got a link there and it has all like the other links attached to it. So
Mhm.
That was how I found your Bandcamp the first time. Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, if someone Instagram is probably the best way to find out about potential upcoming shows in future and new recordings and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Awesome, awesome. I was going to ask earlier. I'm glad that you did the whole two piece thing has been cleared up because I know Mac, you have experience playing in two piece bands before, and I was
Yes.
wondering if this was like an aesthetic you were going for or something. But
No, no.
it makes more sense. But you do still have kind of the split between on some tracks one of you singing, some tracks the other one singing. Is that something that was always sort of part of the plan? Is to have both of you sort of taking the lead on different tracks?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. When I joined, it wasn't like I wasn't gonna be like, I need to sing or anything. It was kind of just like I just really like that part of being I guess like writing in a band,
Yeah,
like being a part of like the whole creative process in it. And I don't know. I liked that Gabe was like, yeah, totally. If you want to like try out a song or think of lyrics for a song, like go for it. And I don't know. I think it's nice because I don't know. It's nice to express yourself creatively when you're a drummer. You don't really get to sing a lot, so
yeah.
I've always liked doing that. So I guess that's a bit of a something I had to just bring into it. I guess I don't know, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I've always liked the idea of like bands with more than one singer. Like I don't know. I
Yeah,
just
cool.
think that like it adds a little bit more variety to it. Not that there's anything wrong with having only one singer, but like I don't know. I mean, like you kind of get like a different little bit of personality on a different song depending on who's singing it, who's writing the lyrics.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I think it's just a fun way to kind of collaborate on that, but it definitely adds some more variety
Yeah,
in the mix.
and it kind of like we both, I guess we write about different things, or we have different like writing styles with the lyrics. So I guess it kind of adds that kind of diversity within like I'll sing on one song out of the record or something, and that one will be a little different just because I don't know, I write in a weird way. So
Do you feel that? I mean, aside from the obvious part of the vocals being different, do you feel that there's kind of a like a sign upon listening that, oh, this is one this is his song, this is my song, this is his song? Like, is it obvious to you that as soon as you hear it, it'd be like, oh, this song is going to be, or as soon as a riff gets come up with or something, like, is there a way that songs sort of develop into one of you doing the lyrics and vocals, or do you bring them kind of fully formed,
Um,
if that makes sense?
yeah, no, I think I get what you're asking. Like basically the way that most of the writing is done for the band is like it usually starts off with like the rhythm guitar and the drums. Sometimes I'll already have like a structure written out, or like at least like a loose kind of structure. Other times I might have just like a chord progression, but it always starts with just that.
Okay.
And then we kind of build the song from there. Lyrics are usually the last part of what we add in, but I don't know. I mean,
like yeah,
it's kind of tough. Like sometimes when I'm working on these parts, like I'm coming up with the chord progression, I already kind of have like an idea in my head of what the vocals should be, or like some like lines of the lyrics. So then I'll just kind of take the lead on there. But then other times, like I'm just focused on the instrumental part, and then I just ask Mac if he wants to come up with something.
I can't think of anything, Mac. Do you want to sing this
Although I will say,
yeah.
on the most recent demo, our song "World Gone Gray," this guy wrote the rhythm guitar on
Yeah.
there and the lyrics and everything.
Very
And
cool.
that song is like the crown jewel of that demo. So
And it was nice that I mean, like I was like trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to write more music during COVID, and like I'll always be a drummer, but I like music. I like making music, and it was nice that like I wrote like a sad song, and Gabe was like, "Yeah, we can totally add that to the band." And then I show Gabe how to play it on guitar, and then Gabe plays it better, and then we figure out how to add drums to it, and I'm like, okay, now I have to figure out how to sing with the drums, and then
Yeah.
it slowly kind of comes together, and then when it's done, like I almost have like this imposter syndrome, like I didn't write this song. Like this doesn't sound like the song I originally wrote, but it is, I guess it is my song. But no, it's just like I don't know, it's nice. I really like working with Gabe because he's just so creative. Like he's got a really good he knows what he wants to write about. Like the songs, what they sound like in his head, and he's good at visual. I can't talk today. He's good at taking what's in his head and putting it through the guitar,
Right.
and I can appreciate that, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
well, that's just about one of the nicest things anyone's ever said to me. Yeah, and I mean, on that same note, I love playing with Mac. I haven't really done a lot like musically, like in the scene or anything. The peak prior to this of my musical career was playing in our high school band together. I had a few failed attempts at starting bands over the years, but I've never quite clicked with anyone like I have with Mac. So I was very happy when he was on board with doing this project. Um, I would not be, or this project would not be where it is without him. So
Yeah,
very grateful to be playing together.
we're both just stoked to be playing music.
Yeah.